A story. You have to think of a good story. Okay, I have a story for you. It's really a story inside of a story, but I'll tell you the story anyway. The story is, this is how I read the story. I've heard people saying that maybe there's different things about this. The story was even written in a pamphlet. And it was given out by Tziri Chabad. And I asked the person who wrote the story, and he said that it's accurate. And other people said it's not accurate. But I'm going to tell the story how it was written there. In any case, if it's not accurate, it's only little details. But the whole gist of the story is, there's a rabbi, and his name was Rabbi David Shochat. He is, I think, in California. In any case, like all the whole Shochat family, they're all very, very gifted people. And they're very also, huh?
It was in Toronto.
I'm sorry?
It was in Toronto.
There's one in Toronto also, right? I know the one in Toronto. I don't think David is it. Anyway, whatever it is. So
And one in LA.
It's a small detail. Oh, one second. This is I left this thing off. It's a small detail. I didn't put my thing on. All right. So once this Rabbi Shochat, he got an invitation to speak to people who were going to become priests, or people that had just become priests, Catholic priests. And so he had this invitation. He was very interested in spreading the 7 Noahide commandments and etc. But on the other hand, to speak to all these priests, the Rebbe sort of said that if you happen to meet someone that's, a non-Jew, you should tell them, but not to go out necessarily and spread. So anyway, he wrote to the Rebbe, and this is the way I heard the story. Okay, so the Rebbe said, yes, you should speak to them and tell them the story about Yisrael Goy. What's the story of Yisrael Goy? So I'll tell you the story. So he goes to these people, to it was in a hotel, something, in a meeting of a hotel. He didn't go to their, to their monastery or something. And there was maybe 50 of these priests, and he was telling them what Judaism is. They basically didn't know. And they asked questions, and suddenly he remembered what the Rebbe said. So he tells them the story. He said, I want to tell you a story about Judaism. And there's a story which is called Yisrael Goy, maybe showing the difference between a Jew and a non-Jew. So he said, there was a great rabbi called Rabbi Yom Tov Lipman. He wrote Tosfot Yom Tov. It's one of the Pirushim on the Mishnah. And in his town, there lived a miser. A miser is a very cheap person, a very stingy person. Stingy, doesn't want to give charity, doesn't give anything to anybody. Somebody needs money, says, it's your tough luck. God created you to be poor, accept your lot. Now you've got millions of dollars in the bank, millions of dollars. Says, I got my money because God wants me to have money. I'm not giving anything away to anybody. It's a mitzvah to give charity. Okay, you do the mitzvah. I'm not doing the mitzvah. Leave me alone. Anyway, what he would do was that people would come and knock on his door and ask for charity, and he would send them all away, and he would curse people out. Anyway, so this Yisrael, and to the degree that they called him Yisrael Goy. Goy is a non-Jew. Why? Because they said Jewish people, by their nature, they are generous. That's the nature of a Jew. I mean, they're not foolish. They don't throw their money away, but they're generous. They love to give charity. They enjoy giving charity, especially religious Jews. It's a commandment to give charity, and it opens up the nature of a Jew is to give charity. That's the nature of a Jew. And a non-Jew, he'll give charity to some cause that he's going to go to heaven for, or something like that. Of course, there's big exceptions both ways. I'm not saying that everybody's like that. It's ridiculous. But generally speaking, that's says that. So he was so stingy. His name with this stingy man was called Yisrael. So they used to call him Yisrael Goy. Yisrael Goy. There's Yisrael, the stingy one. Yisrael Goy. And finally, one day it happened that this Yisrael Goy, he got sick, and he called the Chevra Kadisha, the burial society, and he said, he wants to be buried in the best part of the graveyard. And he gave them money, and he says, and I want you to write on my grave, here lies Yisrael Goy. That's what I want you to write on my tombstone, Yisrael Goy. And then his last name, whatever his last name was. Yisrael Goy, and his last name was Groisboich or something, put his name there. So they said, sure, no problem. And finally, the guy, he dies. And they take this money and they say, listen, we'll bury him in the graveyard, but not in the best place of the graveyard. We'll bury him in a Jewish graveyard, but in the, like, sort of the edge where nobody sort of wants to be. You have to walk a long distance to get there. And the gravestone will put there, Yisrael Goy. Yisrael the Gentile. So they did, they put it up. And it was sort of a joke. Anyway, the next day, a couple days later, after he died, as there comes to the house of Rav Yom Tov Lipman about 5 poor people. And they say, excuse me, can we have food for the Shabbos? So he said, food for the Shabbos, you'll have to go to the caretaker of the shul, the sextant, whatever it's called, the shamash. He's the one that gives out the money. But here, I'll give everybody from my pocket. Here, so you don't have to go over there. Good. Sits down, he learns. Another 5 minutes. Another knock on the door. 10 people are saying, can we have money for Shabbat? We don't have any. I don't understand. Go to the. Where are you? Are you people from this city? He says, yes, of course we're from the city. We say, oh yeah, I recognize you. Sure, of course you are from the city. Okay, here, take a little more money. What happened to Shabbos? I don't understand. He said, we don't have it. Nobody gave us any money. So what do you mean nobody gave you money? I don't understand. He said, usually we go to the grocery store and we go there and we take whatever we want to. You just go to the grocery store and you just take whatever you want and you don't pay? He says, yeah, which grocery store? Birnbaum's grocery store and Groiss's grocery store. We go over there and we buy. Wait, they're so generous. He says, no, somebody's paying for us. We don't know what's going on. So the Rav goes over to the house of the sextant, and he sees there's like about 100 people waiting in the yard, and says, what's going on? And the sextant is standing there just going crazy. He says, Kavod Rav, what's happening over here? All these people are coming. They say that they want. So the Rav says, can somebody tell me what's going on? And they say, well, Kavod Rav, we don't know what's going on. We go to the grocery stores, we go to the Birnbaums and to this grocery store, and they give us for free. And this week they're not giving. So he says, really, I wonder why they were giving and why they stopped giving. Are they generous? So the Rav says to the sextant, provide for all these people, give them all whatever we have, in the treasury, give them, divide it up. The Rav goes to the owners of these stores and says, what's happening over here? Says, what do you mean, what's happening? I have all these 100, there must be 200 families that are knocking on my door wanting money. They're all from the city. He said, yeah, every week, this, we give it for free. And Yisrael Goy, he would come and he would pay. At the beginning of the month, he would pay for the whole entire month for all the people. And he died right at the end of the month, and he didn't come to give us I said, what? Yisrael Goy, he would come and give you money every month? He said, no, not just me, all the store owners. He would go around to all the store owners, but I don't know. He told me not to say anything about it, but I guess that was when he was alive. He didn't say, I don't know. Anyway, that's where I got my money from. So the Rav realizes, whoa, we made a big mistake. A big mistake. And Shabbos, he knocks stands up in front, says to everyone, listen, we made a big mistake about this Yisrael Goy. Everybody's saying, the stingy guy, what do we make? We buried him in a Jewish cemetery. Yeah, we should have thrown him in the sea. He said, no, you should know he's been paying for all of your food. Everybody said, what? He's been paying every week from his pocket. Every month, he's paying for all of you people. There was like 250 families. He's providing for all of your food for the whole entire month. The whole crowd breaks into tears. They're all weeping. Whoa, we misjudged them terribly. What are we going to do? So the rabbi says, tomorrow morning, we're going to the grave and we're going to ask him for forgiveness. Sure enough, all the families in the whole village, 500, 1,000 families, whatever, all the men, they go to the edge of the cemetery and they go to his grave, and there's a big cloth over his grave. A big cloth over the gravestone, tombstone. And the rabbi says, Yisrael, we want to ask your forgiveness. We misjudged you. We said bad things about you. We thought bad things about you. Everyone, the entire village was against you. We didn't realize that you were giving charity. We judged you negatively for no reason. It was wrong, and we want to ask you forgiveness. It says, now I know that what you wanted written on your graveyard was Yisrael Goy. And we wrote it. Yisrael Goy. But I made a little change. I added a little something, and I hope you won't be mad. He pulls the cloth, and it says, Yisrael Goy Kadosh. Yisrael Goy Kadosh. It's a pasuk in the Torah. Yisrael Goy Kadosh. Yisrael is a holy nation. That's what holy means, to give to others, to give. God is called holy because it gives. The holy temple was holy because it gives, gave holiness, gave blessing. So he told the story to all these priests that were sitting there. And after he finished, the priests all clapped and very nicely. One of the priests came to him and said, excuse me, can you repeat that story to me again? And he said, listen, it's a bit late and I don't know, you can call me up if you want, but just in short, repeat it to me again. So he repeated it to him, took him 3 minutes, and repeated the story. He said, can I have your phone number where you are in the hotel? Yes. And so the man calls him up and says, can I come and see you in your hotel room? This priest said, okay. He says, can you tell me the story again? I said, oh, I can, yes, but why? What's so? He said, I want you to know that once my mother told me a long time ago that she's a direct descendant from this Yom Tov Lipman, of this rabbi. And she told me that story. She told me that story. And I'm a direct descendant of his. It means that I'm also part of this Goy Kadosh, this holy nation. And it ended up that the end of the story was that he told them the story again, and that's it. And then 5 years later or something, Rabbi Shochet was in Jerusalem by the Kotel, and somebody tapped him on the shoulder. He turned around, the religious guy, and he said, yes, hello, how can I, do you recognize me? He says, no. He says, I was the priest that was there. I totally returned to Judaism, and I became a religious Jew because of that story. So it's a story within a story to show that's what it is, the holy Jewish people. Have a good day. 3 o'clock, everyone. Be on time.
I think that's the best I've heard the Torah story told yet.